Hello, everybody out there, and welcome to episode 10. Brent, we've hit the double digits. It's time to start. We got to start contacting some people.
WWE, Vince McMahon, NXT. Oh, you mean podcast networks?
Yeah, podcast network. That's right. And this, actually, there's a funny story about last episode. We were having trouble with the video for so long. We figured out how to fix the video so we could edit it. So hopefully you're seeing the episode with the intro, with the outro, with the bars, so you guys get that nice little picture around it, everything. So you guys should be getting everything back to the way it was. Maybe even get, who's the new guy now? We find Chad. I got to remember Chad. Chad. So Chad, I'm expecting bigger and better things. I'm talking fireworks. I'm talking blown up pictures, and I'm talking this has to be grade A graphic stuff.
Grade A? Okay, we'll see. He is an unpaid intern after all.
Well, if he ever wants to get paid in life, Chad, the first lesson is impress.
There we go. You heard him, Chad. There's nobody there. I don't know. I'm just looking off to the wall.
2:30 in the morning, everybody. We're lost. We're talking to invisible people. But anyway, this episode was what?
My bark's dogging. Yeah, my dog is.
Your bark is dogging. You better check that out.
My dog's barking to the invisible creatures in the backyard. I'm talking to invisible people over at the wall. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know, but I do know this episode is brought to you by Pepsi and Cool Whip on the ice cream.
And sparkling ice, peach nectarine flavor.
And you questioned me eating Cool Whip on live.
And great flavor, 5-hour energy extra. That's how I'm awake right now.
That's right.
Oh, shoot. And
we better finish this in 5 hours, or else Brent's going to be out like a light.
Yeah, narcoleptic.
So, Brent, there was a little bit of news this week. One thing that was all over Facebook, I would think it was a day or two ago, was Lana and Rusev, both with injuries, are taking a break from WWE. Both of them, if you guys, you've watched wrestling long enough by now. I mean, even if you watched in the past couple of weeks, everybody found out that Lana and Rusev got engaged. So they're spending some time in Bulgaria.
Yeah, which, good for them. They're both injured anyway. So they're taking time off and enjoying their engagement or whatever, and I'm happy for them. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what
they were a couple before or after starting in WWE.
I don't know. That's a good question. I have no idea, but I'm happy for them if they're enjoying themselves, and they're actually away, unlike Eva Marie, who was in front of a green screen for several weeks. But we'll talk about that.
I know, right? She's so fake.
I know. She's so fake. But we'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
In other news, Seth Rollins, we talked about it last episode, and we didn't get to add an annotation in. I think we forgot. I did add it to the description. But he was seriously injured. He tore his ACL, MCL, and medial meniscus.
I only heard about the ACL.
No, it was all three tendons or whatever. So this past Tuesday, I think he went in for reconstructive knee surgery. But he's going to be out for 6 to 9 months. He'll probably miss WrestleMania. So bad luck for the guy.
I think it's horrible because, and I've been saying it for almost all 10 episodes. I think Seth Rollins was he was one of my favorites to watch in the ring. Mm-hmm. And I think we mentioned something about when the Sting match happens. You mentioned that sometimes he gets a little bit too carried away and people get hurt. This time he got hurt.
Yeah.
And it was doing such an awesome move, too. He was on the turnbuckle. He flipped over Kane. This was a house show in Ireland. I saw the video. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah.
And he landed, and his leg literally made an angle like this. And I was like,
Yeah, he was going for that power bomb.
And you know the crazy thing? He finished the match.
Yeah.
Finished the match, even though he was in excruciating pain, he finished it.
Yeah. Yeah, just like Triple H back in the day when he tore his quad right off his knee. He finished the match then, too. So, Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say props to him. Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. I don't like comparing Seth Rollins to Triple H because I feel like, and they do it on wrestling, and it's not for you. I'm talking about they do it on WWE, and it's been bothering me. Triple H was the cerebral assassin. He was brutal. I mean, this is the guy with the sledgehammer that you mess with him, this guy's going to beat the hell out of you. Seth Rollins has more tactical stuff. It shows in even his attire. He's a tactical wrestler.
Yeah.
They're from two different molds.
They are. They did the same thing kind of though with Triple H when Ric Flair came in.
That
and
is true.
Because he respected Ric Flair so much, and they're different kind of wrestlers too, those two. But there were, like Triple H always did the knee drop, just like Ric Flair always did. So it was like, he respected him, and he was kind of passing the torch a little bit. So I get it in that aspect, but I agree with you. I wish they would kind of, move away from that a little bit. Maybe when he comes back.
I hope when Seth Rollins comes back, whoever has the belt is a heel. They bring him back as a face. He needs to be a face. And he just kicks ass all the way till he gets his belt back.
He is a good heel. A little whiny for my taste, but he's a good heel.
That's not his fault. That is
I know.
the fault of the writers.
Yeah, exactly. It's the direction from creative, yeah. But yeah, I wish him a speedy recovery. I hope he comes back sooner. But I want him to be 100% because, he does a lot of crazy stuff in the ring. So.
Did you know, I think you're the one that told me, Seth Rollins hadn't missed a Raw until this past Raw.
Yeah, since his debut. It was like 155 straight appearances on Raw or something.
That is something. Even if he didn't wrestle, that says something about his character and his motivation to work.
Yeah, exactly. That's like, I know people give crap about John Cena, but one thing about John Cena, he was the same as Stone Cold. He was always there. Yeah,
and nobody wanted him there, and they pushed Super Cena.
Yeah, but my point is, he was always there. He was 100%. He was the hardest working guy. He was the first to show up, the last to leave, kind of thing. And Rollins showed that kind of commitment, that kind of dedication to the same effect. That's what I was getting at. So
I have a question. Rollins, Cena. Cena did it. Everybody hates him now. Do you think if Rollins would have done this for the amount of years Cena has, that people would start hating him because they feel like he's too Super Rollins?
No, because I think people unfairly blame Cena for the PG era. They blame Cena for being another second coming of Hulk Hogan or whatever when we don't necessarily need that. And it's because he's so polarizing because he's big with the kids. He's that role model type character, but because we got the Attitude Era, us older fans like the more edgy. Right. So I think, I don't think you can compare the two at all. If Rollins is there for 10 years and on top like that, people are going to get tired just like they got tired of Orton or Triple H or anybody that's on top all the time because you want change, you want excitement, you want something to keep your interest. But I don't think it would ever be. John Cena's a unique character. That's a sweet way of saying definitely something. Just not something that we need all the time anymore. I really do hope that he starts taking breaks here and there just to give us a break from his character. Not from him, from his character. Yeah. Because I just feel like, and that was when I started leaving wrestling. It was when he first came in, he was a heel. And I was okay with that. Yeah. But then after being a face, he started to just win every single. It was Super Cena. I remember leaving saying I can't deal with Super Cena anymore. It was kind of awesome when he was a heel because it was like this punk kid comes out of nowhere. Yep. Well, first he came in and he challenged Kurt Angle, and he gave Kurt Angle a run for his money. But when he started coming in with the throwback jerseys and the shorts and all that stuff, and he starts like cheating to win with the chain and stuff like that, and that was kind of cool. It was interesting. It was the feud with him and Eddie Guerrero. It was like exciting because it was something different, not quite anything like we've seen before. And then even when he first got the title and turned face at first, it was fine because it was like, okay, we love this guy. He's been really awesome. But then he started slowly transforming into that more just and true Captain America type character, and then it kind of started getting a little boring. I think that's what it was. This is
comics should take. Something stuck in my throat. Comics should take an example from wrestling. Wrestling is edgy. It needs to be edgy, yet it's PG right now. Comics are for young readers and us older readers who like the preservation of our childhood and our history. Comics and wrestling are wrong categories. Comics need to go back to being that PG with a little bit of darkness to them. Obviously, there are comics that deserve the MA. I'm talking about the big two mostly. Mostly just the big two. Comics need to go back to their earlier roots, and wrestling needs to go back to the way comic books are thinking. They need the edgy PG-13, not cursing, but they need more like the pay-per-view that just happened with Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt. They need that.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Part of me...
Agree and disagree, please.
Yeah, no, part of me kind of likes the fact that when we get those kind of edgy moments, it's a little bit more special because we're not getting it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So a pay-per-view like Hell in a Cell was more exciting because we got something we're not getting on the weekly. At the same time, I think they could push the envelope just a tad bit more. I don't ever want to see it go back to where it's, blood and cursing and half-naked ladies all the time, because it's like it becomes too much and it becomes you're alienating half your audience.
Mm-hmm. Could the hardcore belt come back?
I wouldn't mind
that belt.
I wouldn't mind the hardcore belt, because then again it's centered around just that one belt. Everything else could stay the same except for big feuds culminate in a knockdown, drag out, bloody fight at a big pay-per-view. I think that would be fun. I think it's a compromise. It's a compromise for both sets of fans, and I think fans would be happy if they could get some of what they're missing.
I agree, 100%. And I think that Rollins would be a perfect person to lead us back to a midway point between the Attitude and the PG era. Somewhere in between him, Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt,
Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens.
Samoa Joe even.
These are wrestlers that can, and I don't know why we have to call them superstars. I'm calling them wrestlers, even though they're not really wrestling. They're wrestling, nonetheless. These are wrestlers that can bring back the midway point where WWE needed to be. Not too dark, not too bloody, not too violent, but at the same time, not so kiddie. Yeah. Oh, darling, you're horrible. Yeah, we're going to just slap you right in the... We're going to make you look like Summer Rae.
So mean.
Ugly woman.
So mean.
I can't help it. But I'm glad we only see very little of her now. Thank you, WWE, for listening to us. You pay us and we'll keep talking some nice stuff about you.
Speaking of the Attitude Era, Undertaker's been around a lot lately, and we got to see him on Jimmy Fallon.
That was an awesome segment.
There was I guess they were doing the letter segment, and somebody wrote in and said, "Can you have the Undertaker on there and have him tombstone a guy in a turkey suit?" And he's like, "It's such short notice. I don't know how to end it." The fog starts rolling through, and Undertaker comes out and tombstones a guy in a turkey suit.
That was awesome.
It was pretty awesome. And then Jimmy Fallon tries to shake his hand. What does Undertaker do?
And he's like...
Yeah, he's like... Kill me. Yeah. That was brilliant. I love Jimmy Fallon. He's from my area. He likes all the stuff I liked when I was growing up.
Who did he take the show over from? I remember...
Jay Leno.
He did take it from Jay Leno, okay.
Well, no, I take that back. Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien had it for a bit, and then they put Jay Leno back because Conan O'Brien wasn't working. And then
they retired him again and brought in, okay.
Yeah. So.
I remember when he did Donald Trump. That was funny.
Have you seen any of the history of rap with him and Justin Timberlake?
No.
They've done like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 times now. Justin Timberlake will just show up, and him and Jimmy Fallon will rap like tons of rap songs throughout the history of rap, and it's funny because Jimmy Fallon goes for the hardcore rap, and he starts going there, and Justin has to pull him back and like, it's a family show, dude. you can't do that. It's funny. It's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There's a stupid thing with Donald Trump right now in Starbucks, but that's I don't even know where Donald Trump's head is anymore.
Let's not talk about Starbucks. They've been all over the news lately.
I know what. It's a red cup. It's a red freaking cup.
I know.
It's a coffee shop.
I know.
What does it matter? I know. I'm Catholic. Okay.
I'm Christian. Hey, I'm gonna.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a red cup. There's worse things we can be getting upset over instead of a stupid styrofoam cup at a coffee shop. I'm sorry.
But I love how Donald Trump says, if I'm elected president, we'll all say Merry Christmas again. I say it now. I mean, I'm granted they can't say it back to me, but they'll say you too. Why? Because I know they mean Merry Christmas to me too.
Yeah. There's too much PC in this world now.
There's too much soft. We can't insult these people, so we can't say Merry Christmas, or we can't insult those people, so we can't say Happy Hanukkah. Why? It's a holiday. It's a commercial, then Christian Catholic now.
I say if you celebrate Christmas, say Merry Christmas. If you don't, don't.
Brant, you're running for president.
No. I don't want that kind of responsibility.
Why?
Or headache.
A couple of million people in your hands. I mean, you could fix a few things and then let somebody else deal with the rest. I'll do it.
Okay.
You don't want me. You don't want me in the White House.
Oh, shoot. All right, so should we move on to some wrestling? Was there any other news? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
All right, so NXT.
Oh, my girl opened the show this week, and I loved it.
Versus the returning Cameron.
It's too bad it was short-lived.
I didn't even know she was back in the. I don't know. Girl by that whole song, and she comes in there, and she was on the main roster. She was Total Divas and everything. I remember I watched Total Divas, and she chose to go back to NXT to learn wrestling more. And she's just been gone, and now she comes in and just gets beat by a newcomer. I felt bad for the girl.
I felt bad for her, but I love Asuka, and I could give two craps. I don't really know who Cameron is, so I was like, yeah.
She was Naomi's partner. They were the Funkadactyls.
Never knew that, and I don't care. I love watching Asuka beat.
Asuka is so entertaining, and she just keeps getting better and better.
I love her. She's going to move up. I have a feeling, because she's so good and very entertaining, and I hope they don't, because I think NXT needs her right now. She's a good wrestler. I think they should keep her for a year at least before they move her up. Don't move her up so fast.
I agree. I love her because she's like cocky. She's making fun of everybody in the ring, and then she just.
But not in a hurtful way. And
no, she's just like,
she's freaky.
Yeah, exactly. She's fun to watch. So yeah, that was a really fun match. It's always fun with her. Then we had Chris. Dude, you never told me that you were an NXT wrestler. Out comes this guy from Brooklyn, New York.
I didn't even remember this match. I'm still trying to remember from last.
Bull Dempsey with his 1-pack instead of a 6-pack. It's the 1-pack. It's Bull Fit, the big guy.
I have a good 1-pack.
I was like, Chris, when did you start wrestling, man? It was Brooklyn and everything. I was like,
I couldn't tell you. I just thought about it one day, and I'm like, Bull Dempsey, yeah, and put on a mask and everything. Put on stilts because he's about 6 foot.
He wasn't wearing a mask, but okay.
No, a human face mask.
Oh, a human face mask. Okay. No, he looked kind of like you had the beard. He had a little bit longer hair, but
that's a wig. Don't worry. That's okay. A wig I'm wearing. Short hair. See, it's the short hair.
Yeah, and he fought low rent MVP. Did you see this guy? He comes out with this like sweat jacket headband. He looks like the cheap version of MVP. I'm sorry.
I know, right? I'm at least glad I won.
Yeah. And I still don't understand. The announcers are like, what does that mean? Angelo Dawkins, the MVP guy, he comes out there and does this, and it's like, what does that mean? What's he doing?
Grinding the gears.
Is that what he's stirring it up? I don't know what he's doing, but he lost. And his tag team partner walked away from him.
There is a funny story actually connected with me and wrestling. I was offered when I was in high school. I had friends who did a lot of stuff like that, and I was offered a spot, and they were doing the stuff like you record on YouTube.
Yeah.
I turned that down, but my high school also offered me. Now this is official wrestling, not like
Right.
TV. The kind where you gotta
Okay.
pin them down and stuff. And I was a big guy. I had the big neck. It's like, come on, man, you look like you're a football or wrestler. I was offered to be on the football team. I turned them down. I was offered to be on the wrestling team. I was gonna take them up on it. Unfortunately, that was the exact same year where I decided I didn't like my high school anymore because it was getting too violent.
Yeah. Echo. Yeah, I'm getting an echo.
Just so moment, I knew it was coming.
Okay. No, it's funny. I didn't go to a public high school, but I probably would have. I had a lot of people tell me I should play football because, again, I had the big, broad shoulders and big neck and all that stuff too. So I was. They always said I was husky. So.
Yeah, what is it with the neck? I love how they pointed out my big neck. I'm like, excuse me, I have a neck. Yes.
Yeah.
Are you trying to say something?
I have a big neck too. Look at
It's
that
like,
neck.
come on, what are you gonna say? You saying I could swallow half a watermelon? Huh? You saying that I could fit an orange in here? So I should be a football player because my neck is about the size of a half-size watermelon?
Yeah. What size? I don't know if you know, but what size collar do you wear? Like if you wear a button up.
Extra. I'm extra large as a shirt. So collar. Jeez, I don't know, but I know my button down. Sometimes it gets hard to button it. I've got a big neck.
Yeah, me too. I've always had trouble getting the right size. Either the shirt is always like too big because I have to fit the neck.
I'll be honest with you, Brent. In the work we do and in the things that I do, there are very few occasions, thank God, where I need to wear a tie.
Well, of course, I used to a lot though. But back in the day, that's all I'm saying.
I think I've worn a suit and tie graduations. I went to 2 weddings, and that was about it.
I used to wear a tie twice a week for 20 years. So.
God bless you, because there is no way you could get this boy in the tie that many times in a week.
So, all right. So back in NXT,
yes.
Eva Marie is back from her green screen vacation. And, man, I did not miss her. I still don't miss her.
I didn't care that she was back either.
And, I'll give her props because she really was trying to improve and get better, but she has not. She's still so green in that ring. And I was just watching the match, I was like, man, this is so bad.
And she was fighting a local competitor. It wasn't even somebody who's on the roster.
Yeah.
Nobody who's going to ever see. Well, you know what? You might see her again because remember Santino Marella? He was just a random pick person, and he came back.
True. That's true, but I doubt we're going to see that girl again.
I'm just saying, I'm
know.
sure, but I'm just saying you never know when it comes to random competitors.
Yeah, that was a pitiful match. I'm sorry. That was not worth the wait. That was not worth sitting through. I'm in Paris. And it was so obvious that was a green screen. I don't even know why they did that. It was stupid. Anyway, main event time. Apollo Crews versus NXT champion Finn Balor. This was a long match. I have to say, Apollo Crews kind of won me over a little bit in this match because he was doing some cool stuff. Yeah, that cartwheel to the backflip thing just to show off. I was like, dang, and that's a big dude to do that.
And he was able to do that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he impressed me a little bit.
This was for the belt, though. I was surprised but they don't have pay-per-views, honestly. So
they have the NXT Takeover thing. It's not really a pay-per-view, but it's an extended version of NXT. It's 2 hours instead of 1 hour.
Is it once a month though, or?
I don't know if it's once a month or if it's just once whenever they feel like doing it. I'm not sure.
Right, so I guess that's why the belt can go on the line whenever.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it was a really good match. It was a nice back and forth. 2 face competitors, and then it gets ruined by Baron Corbin running in.
I hate that guy. I saw him like 4 times, and I don't like him.
Yeah. So he came in and beat both of them up. And then Samoa Joe comes in. And I know this is old news by this point, but Samoa Joe saves them. And then he turns on Finn Balor and beats the crap out of Finn Balor. So now we have Samoa Joe as a heel. Neither one of us are watching NXT this week yet. We're recording this late, obviously. Smackdown already aired again.
I heard little grapevine whispers today as Smackdown was playing. But the good news is NXT, I don't have to worry. That's only on the network, so I can't hear it on TV. So I did hear little trickles of results for the thing that we're going to be talking about on Raw. But
so we have no idea what happened on NXT this week yet. So, but yeah, I think we're both fine with Samoa Joe being a bad guy.
I'm used to it.
He's better.
TNA.
He's better as a bad guy, honestly. It's cool to cheer for him. They're going to cheer for him regardless. He's going to be one of those kind of guys. But I'd rather see him, run and rush out through everybody.
Do you know what I noticed the crowd's doing a lot more lately? And I don't know if you've noticed it. The matches that go a little bit beyond, normal the matches every Raw and every NXT I see here at once. This is awesome. There's always one match that kind of feels like what we were just talking about, an early on Attitude Era match, and the fans they eat it up.
Yeah.
And you can hear, and they've been doing this since Hell in the Cell, I've noticed.
Yeah, maybe a little bit before that too. I've noticed it. I think it's because they appreciate when they go the extra step, extra mile, whatever you want to say. And they're bored by the just typical, okay, these guys wrestled 50 times, we're going to see them again because they work good together. So let's throw them in the ring and see what happens. Yada yada. When you get a good match and there's like those high spots and they're putting their all towards it and it goes a little bit extra long and it's all these cool moves and cool exchanges, I think they appreciate it and they want more of that. Granted, I don't think every match should be that because then you're getting pay-per-views on the weekly.
Exactly, and that's what takes away from them. But I can understand a little bit more before than now. Now, if you pay $10 a month, you get the pay-per-views and the extra, the extra shows,
That's
whatever.
True.
Pay-per-views was $60 to $70 each.
Yeah.
For $10, I think anyone who likes WWE, really watches it on the religious, standard, they're gonna want to buy. They're gonna buy the WWE Network, especially if they love the pay-per-views. So at this point, I say they can have pay-per-view-esque. I mean, you have to make something special for the pay-per-views, but they can go a little bit beyond now with the TV shows because they've already got people on the network for $10 a month, and the first month is free even.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And I think it's just going to keep getting better, especially if SmackDown does go live like we talked about last week.
Oh, yeah.
If SmackDown goes live, wrestling's going to get exciting again, I think. Especially because that's, like we were talking about last week, that's when wrestling always hits its high point is right around the Royal Rumble through WrestleMania. And that's when SmackDown could potentially go live. So then you're going to get 2 live shows plus NXT on the network and the pay-per-views. And it's going to be exciting, I think. And sadly, we have so many of the top guys out right now, injured.
I'm so upset about Seth Rollins. I wanted to see Triple H versus Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
I wanted to see that so bad. It's not even funny. And now they're talking about John Cena versus Undertaker. It's like, no, please, God, no. Don't make that the main event. Don't make anything like that the main event ever, please. No.
I think Orton's going to be back in time for WrestleMania. I could be wrong, but I think
he'll
be back.
That would be good.
I think if needed, Triple H will step in and do something.
I hope so. Rematch with Sting.
Yeah, but you still have Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, Kevin Owens. Who else?
They're picking. They're bringing Dean Ambrose up. They're bringing the Wyatts up a little bit. They're bringing Dolph Ziggler up. They're bringing the Wyatts up. They're bringing Dean Ambrose up. I feel like I'm missing somebody, and we were saying this person should move up. Kevin Owens already is up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wrestlers they're bringing up finally now. I guess that they lost a lot of heavy hitters, and now it's like we need better. We need more.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so SmackDown.
I didn't watch it.
I actually did watch it this week. Let's see. SmackDown opens with
Del Rio versus Neville.
I was trying to see if anybody came out and talked first, but it was just Del Rio. Yeah, so Del Rio versus Neville. The interesting thing about this was it was an okay match. It's what you would expect from those two wrestling each other. I mean, it's the man at Gravity Forgot versus Alberto Del Rio. Del Rio kind of pretty much ran the match. But the interesting thing was at the end, Del Rio, he wasn't satisfied with just beating him. He came back in the ring and kicked him in the head and then did the arm breaker. And so then Jack Swagger out of nowhere comes running, and we haven't seen him for a while. And of course, we know he used to be part of the Real Americans with Zeb Coulter. And so he comes out, and there's this standoff between the two. Nothing really happens between them. Nothing, follows through on Brawl. But I'm assuming on SmackDown they're going to do a storyline with those two.
Which is good. It gives them something exclusive for SmackDown, finally.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was fine. The Ascensions versus the Usos. Usos back together after Jay's, finally come back from his shoulder injury. And, the Ascension, I'm not a fan of theirs really. But,
neither am I.
Yeah, but the Usos they hadn't lost a step, man. They were doing all their signature stuff, diving over the top rope, all this stuff. It was exciting to watch.
This is the Rocks family. Even injured, they're at home with their in the backyard, just practicing the moves. Yeah. So, of course, they didn't lose a step. They've got a ring in their backyard, probably.
Yeah. And Jay Uso, the one that was injured, gets to get the pinfall. He does the big splash off the top rope, pins him, and the Usos take that one. So
glad they're back. I really hope they go forward with go after, because they're not going to give it to the Dudleys. I hope they go after the tag belts.
Yeah, I would like to see that. So speaking of tag matches, we had another Survivor Series elimination style match. The entire Wyatt family versus the Primetime Players and the Lucha Dragons. And honestly, they had Darren Young in the ring for so long, and every single one of the Wyatts beat him up. They eliminated him first by count out. They just beat him so bad that he got counted out. So then they picked off the Lucha Dragons. They picked off the Sin Cara first, and then Kalisto was trying his best, but he's so small, and he was getting some good blows in on them, but it just wasn't a match. So anyway, it ended up being all four Wyatts versus Titus O'Neil, and Titus O'Neil tried, man. He was like, he came back a few times and was like, going toe to toe with him because he's a big dude too.
Yeah.
But he just couldn't. So it ended up being the entire Wyatt family won the match.
Yippee.
Okay, so then we had King Barrett versus Ryback, which was a pretty short match. Ryback beats him with a shell shock. End the story there.
There was some backstage with Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose.
There was some backstage with, yeah. I think Ambrose was getting interviewed, and Kevin Owens walked up during the interview. It was like, what's all this, and yada, yada, yada. I don't remember exactly what was said. He told him he was annoying Renee, and I don't know, something about they were in Colorado, I think, and Dean Ambrose kept bringing up Colorado references. He talked about John Denver.
I hate when they do that. See, I hate when wrestlers, when they're in, this is the great state of Ohio.
But it was fun. It was funny because, Dean Ambrose and Renee are dating, so there's like always this cute stuff between them that they don't talk about on air. It's funny. I like Dean Ambrose even when he is saying stupid stuff that they tell him to say. But yeah, he was talking about climbing Pikes Peak Mountain and all this stuff.
I'm just glad he doesn't have pink hair anymore. If you saw his debut in wrestling, he had pink hair.
Yeah.
Dear God. Long pink hair. Right.
So then we find out that Natalya on Twitter challenged the leader of Team Bad. She's trying to drive a wedge. So she's like standing in the ring waiting. There's like this backstage segment where Renee's asking them, okay, so who's the leader? And they're like, well, whoever the leader is going to go out there. And it's like this. There was this back and forth with Sasha and Naomi looking at each other like, you don't know which one, if they're like at odds, if one of them thinks they're the leader of the other. So they go out there and they're looking at each other, and Tamina's just looking back and forth between them, and then she just pushes them aside and walks in the ring, and they're like, okay. So Tamina versus Natalya. And Natalya's like, oh, I didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah, and I love how I'm reading the thing, and the crowd was chanting, we want Sasha, and Tamina just responds to them, you can't have her.
Yeah.
That was wow.
Yeah, so, and Tamina was, she was pretty good, but Natalya won in the end. She rolled her up for her pinfall. And we talk more about them on Raw, but, So
a wah kind of thing.
Exactly. So next up is our main event, non-title match, Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens. It's what you would expect. it's Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens, two great performers, back and forth match. They were in and out of the ring. Excuse me. There was a top rope suplex at one point. They were both down, and you didn't know, if they were both going to get up. I think they both got up at the last minute. There was a lot of false finishes throughout the match. Dean Ambrose almost hit his. Kevin Owens almost hit his. And then it ends in disqualification.
Because Kevin Owens decides he's going to fake and under,
Yeah, fake a low blow that he got hit, and so the ref disqualifies him. And, that's how your SmackDown ends. So.
And that is why SmackDown needs to be fixed.
Yeah, but that could be leading up to something, because we could see them in the tournament, and we'll get to that once we get through Raw. Mm-hmm. And that's where you get to talk now.
Raw opened up. Now, between Smack and Raw is what happened with Seth Rollins.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I'm upset about, I understand if he can't walk, that's a different story. He probably can't walk. I would have liked for him to have been there. Kind of like, you remember when certain champions got their belt, like oh my God, Daniel Bryan. He walked in the ring. He said, "Look, I'm not good." Oh, never mind. Wait for it. I'm sorry. Something popped up on mine. I thought it was the recording program. It was the website.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, no. He at least gave it back. He said, "I can't deal. I can't. There's nothing I can." Yeah, the website actually was on me for the thing. But anyway, if he couldn't get there, that's fine. But I would have liked to have seen him give away the belt. Say, "Look, I got hurt. I can't. I'm not gonna be able to wrestle for a while." And then give the belt to it, even if it's a backstage thing that's built obviously someone else. Where Triple H says you can wrestle for a while, and I'll get you back in the belt, and then gives it to Triple H, and that opens the night up. I guess he couldn't be in.
Yeah, well, I mean, considering that Tuesday he went in for reconstructive surgery, I'd say he was probably laid up in a hospital Monday. So. And
I lost it, so if you could copy and paste the results of the night, that'd be great.
Okay.
Sorry. A little list on the bottom so I can remember the matches in order. But Triple H came out and called Roman Reigns out. And basically he wanted to make Roman Reigns the next Seth Rollins. And like everybody would expect, Roman's like, "No, I earn what I get. I don't need it handed to me." And that's when Triple H goes, "Okay, well, you're the first match in the tournament, and the person you'll be facing is the Big Show."
I did like here that Roman Reigns, on his face, it seems like he's getting more comfortable in front of the camera. He's getting more comfortable acting. On his face, you could see contemplation. It was fake contemplation because he's going to say no. But it's like, he kind of gave that impression. You're making some good points here, kind of thing, where you weren't sure which way this was going to go, which I appreciated. But go ahead.
I knew it was going to go that way because of the tournament.
Right.
And, he can't be on Triple H's side because then it's just a telltale, final result.
Yeah.
So we get a Survivor Series-esque tournament. You got Roman Reigns, Big Show, Cesaro, Sheamus, Del Rio, Stardust, Kalisto, Ryback. I don't know why some of these people are in this. Titus O'Neil, Kevin Owens, Neville, King Barrett, excuse me, Dolph Ziggler, Miz. Why the hell is The Miz in this? Dean Ambrose, and why the hell is Tyler Breeze in this?
Yeah, The Miz, in fairness, he's a former world champion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Tyler Breeze and Kalisto, they needed more people.
And Stardust?
At one point in time, Cody Rhodes could have been up there, but not Stardust.
Not Stardust. Cody Rhodes, yes. When they bring Cody Rhodes back, call me.
Yeah, exactly.
And this Monday Night Raw, by the way, took place in the UK.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I want to say. Now, Big Show versus Roman Reigns. I knew that I know Roman Reigns is going to win his side of. See, Roman Reigns is on his side, and if you look at if Brent, you copy the chart that was made for just this week. We're not going up SmackDown. We know SmackDown happened tonight. We're ignoring it. It didn't happen for us yet. We have to watch it still. For you guys, it did, but for us, we don't want to know yet. So, on Roman Reigns' side, I don't see anybody who's going to beat him. He's obviously going to make it to that top bracket. The big question mark is who on the opposite side, Titus O'Neil, Kevin Owens, Neville, Barrett, Ziggler, Miz, Ambrose or Breeze, is going to face Roman Reigns at Survivor Series and potentially be Triple H's new Seth Rollins.
Yeah, which we'll get to as we learn the results.
Right. So Roman Reigns beat the Big Show. No surprise there because I'm telling you, any match Roman Reigns is in, he's going to win. Because he's going to make it to that. He's going to make it to the pay-per-view. Yeah. I'm positive that he won tonight, and that means all he has to do is win on Monday Night Raw, and he's in for the pay-per-view. So that just leaves the opposite side. That's my prediction for tonight for SmackDown.
I did like this match as far as it goes. We've seen it before, and I love that it was a little bit shorter, so we didn't have to get bored by it. But Reigns, he kept trying to get the best on the Big Show, kept swatting him out of the air and all that stuff. I thought it was handled really well, but he ended up getting the punch and the spear on him. So, yeah.
Next match was Kevin Owens versus Titus O'Neil. And Kevin Owens won. I think Kevin Owens being the main event on a pay-per-view would be huge. There's one problem. Kevin Owens is the Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah.
He can hold both belts, but with Kevin Owens, I would think that eventually he'll have to lose the Intercontinental belt then in order to keep the WWE belt.
Yeah.
Even Seth Rollins only had the U.S. and World for 1 month.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Which is fine.
Will you give your opinions on the match, Roman Reigns?
The match was fine. I like that they're giving Titus O'Neil more opportunity. They've really been pushing him lately. But, man, he just picked him up for that pop-up powerbomb like it was nothing. So, yeah, it was a fine match. It was okay.
I think Kevin Owens, if not for other people in the tournament, deserves the shot at the main event. I would like to see Owens versus Reigns for the World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're going to get. But,
most likely.
Yeah, but there's something I'll mention later that could put a wrench in that. So.
All right, then we had Paige versus Becky Lynch.
Yes.
Paige as a heel, still cheered by the crowd, still beating the crap out of Becky Lynch, putting her in that, I forget what submission hold it was, on the announcers.
The PTO, Paige tap out.
Yes, on the announcers table.
Yeah.
Paige cheered, then, I almost said Cleo. Charlotte comes out, everybody boos Charlotte.
Yeah. And like I said, in fairness, they were in the UK. Paige is English, British, whatever. I love that they had. I love that they had Becky versus Paige in the UK though. Becky's from Ireland, Paige is from England. And I love that they were cheering for both of them, but more for Paige. Obviously, and I mentioned to you before we recorded when she yelled in the ring, "This is my house," and everybody just erupted. Paige just got this little smile on her face for a second, and I love that. That was so telling because she's talked about this before. They can do whatever they want. These fans are going to cheer me, so I love it. I think it's awesome.
I loved it, and I was cheering for Paige too. I'm sorry, Becky Lynch, just a nice wrestler too, but yeah, Paige is just. I hope she beats Charlotte at the next pay-per-view. I
don't like Charlotte.
Not that I don't like her. You explain first, and then I'll explain mine.
She's good in the ring. I will give her that. She's got talent, but she's boring to me because when she talks, I just tune out completely. There's no personality there for me personally. I don't know. I look at her. I'd rather see her as the heel.
Yeah, me too. Exactly.
So.
And that's why I think Paige should win. She'll put a little bit more personality to the Divas Championship.
Right.
Which would be rightfully called the Women's Championship. Mm-hmm. Just saying. And before we go back into the tournament, because I believe the rest of the night was tournament, except for a tag match.
Yeah.
Natalya versus Naomi. I guess it's Natalya has got a real vendetta against Team Bad.
Yeah, and this time she was in the ring. She actually started the chants. She was like, "We want Sasha," and they chanted it, but I don't know. It's funny to me that she's like they're still getting the best of Natalya, even though Natalya is like winning. It's like they're still not falling apart. They're still on the same page. They're still a team.
Mm-hmm.
But you know it's going to end up Natalya versus Sasha. That's where
Of
it's
course,
headed.
that's the whole point of it, probably for the pay-per-view.
Oh, of course. But then they all three just kind of beat up Natalya, didn't they? Am I remembering that correctly?
I think they at some point. I think they did gang up on her.
Yeah, I thought so. At the end, yeah, Sasha attacked her,
Mm-hmm.
and then yeah, she actually got Sasha in the sharpshooter.
Yeah, but
And
then
then
the others attacked.
Yeah,
too.
that's when they came in and attacked her and stuff. Yeah, so I was trying to remember it. But yeah, I like Sasha. I think Sasha's the leader, even though Naomi should be, but whatever.
And then outside of the tournament again is the tag match, New Day versus Neville and the Usos. Of course, New Day wins because they freaking cheat. Usos' second match back. This is why somebody needs to beat this. I mean, do you understand that New Day has not been beaten because they always freaking cheat?
I love New Day. I think they're entertaining. See, that's where you and I differ. You hate them. I love them.
I don't find them entertaining at all. I find them annoying.
I find them entertaining. I think it's funny. I love the unicorn power. Everything about it. It's just entertaining.
I'm gonna buy you a unicorn.
It's just funny. And Kofi Kingston's wearing flash boots, and they're talking about that, and you know the dance and the. I just think it's fun. They're fun heels, and that's something you don't see too often. And I thought this was a good match. There was a lot of high flying stuff going on. You had both Usos flying over. You had Neville taking out everybody in the match, and you know that's one of the matches they were chanting. You know, this is awesome or holy. You know, they were chanting that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I thought it was a good match. I liked it.
I thought it was a good match. I didn't like the outcome. It was non-title.
I know, but I like that they have to cheat to win, even though they're because they came out. If you watched them from the beginning, I don't remember if you did.
No, I walked away from this match. It was.
No. I mean when New Day first debuted.
Oh,
as New Day.
way back. Okay.
As New Day, when they first debuted, they were good guys, and they were this positive. Everything's positive, and people booed them like crazy because they were like, "This is corny. This is cheesy," and so then they slowly became heels, and then people started cheering them because it's like this is crazy. These guys are positive and upbeat and everything, but they're cheating, and it's the contrast that I think that people enjoy. I don't know why you hate it. I like it.
I find them annoying. Maybe if I was there, like when they try to convert Big E, I remember seeing tidbits of that because Big E wasn't really for their ways for a while, and then he kind of got into it, and that was back when they were faces.
I don't know. I get a smile on my face every time I hear like, "Oh, England, don't you dare be sour."
I don't know why. I just can't stand that. I can't stand that. You spit all over yourself because it's true. I hear that and it's like, oh, I'm already sour now. I wasn't sour. Now I'm sour. Now you couldn't hear me because I said now I'm sour. When I hear that, I say now I'm sour.
I love it. Clap your hands for your 2-time tag champions and feel the power.
I don't like that. Oh, I'm sorry.
But Chris, it's a new day. Yes, it is.
It is. It's 3 a.m. It's a new morning.
Day rocks.
New day sucks.
You
know what? I'm going to make a tag, team. I'm going to call us the New Mornings, and we're going to go after the new day, and we're going to school them in early.
What we call it, New Nights.
Unicorn.
The New Nights.
Give you a unicorn.
Forget the unicorn. We'll be Griffins. New Knights and the Griffins.
Oh, okay, fine. If you want to tag up, we can go after that. It's fine. Take their belts away from them, that's for sure.
All right, so back to the tournament.
Yeah, the rest of the tournaments.
Yeah, Miz and Dolph Ziggler. Like you said, Miz.
Really? I was like, really?
Okay. He gets super kicked and pinned, and that's the first time I think Dolph Ziggler's ever won with the super kick.
First time? It is a first time for everything. That was it.
Oh, shoot. He was so Shawn Michaels. I don't know. He's trying to be Shawn Michaels so bad. I like Dolph Ziggler. I think he's underutilized, but man, his transformation is just more and more Shawn Michaels every time I see him.
I know. I think that's because he was trained by Shawn Michaels.
Was he? Okay.
I think he was.
I don't know. I know he was like a collegiate wrestler for Kent State.
I have no clue. I didn't even know he was part of the Spirit Squad, but I didn't pay attention to that.
Hello.
Oh, 1 second. Yes.
No, I was saying hello to whoever that was.
Mom said, Brent says hi. We're taping. Yes. What?
I wonder
Yeah.
who was the guy on that Christmas program that was so funny? That in the Wally World Vacation.
I have no clue, Mom.
Yes, that guy that was on Saturday Night Live that used to fall down the steps all the time.
Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase. We both said it. Thank you. You can't plan these things, people. You can't.
That was gold.
You know what I want? I'll tell you after this show, because if you can get it, I'm going to put it on Outside the Pages.
Okay.
There's one thing I want from us back during when we were doing the related recap.
Okay.
There's one audio clip I want. You might remember it, but I want it. I want to put it on Outside the Pages for this week. All right.
Okay.
Anyway, back to the tournament. Cesaro versus Sheamus. Cesaro keeps getting better and better, man. I watch him wrestle, and I feel like every time I see him, it's even though he, sometimes loses, he puts on a good. He won this match against Sheamus, but obviously, come on, Sheamus can't go into the World Heavyweight Championship match. He's got the freaking Money in the Bank. Of course, he's not going to go into it.
Again, you had 3 Europeans in this match, by the way. Cesaro, Sheamus, and King Barrett was on the outside. This was Cesaro is so getting so much better every time I see him. It's just when he first debuted, he was so boring to me.
Yes. Oh, I remember when he debuted.
Yeah, and I mean he could always wrestle, but it took him a while to I think get used to the American style. But yeah, he's so exciting now, man. And his strength is uncanny.
I agree. He's amazing. I like watching him.
Yeah, but this match is fantastic. I thought. I wasn't sure which way it was going to go. I honestly thought Sheamus was going to win.
Well, I knew Sheamus wouldn't win. That's
Really?
kind of why I watched it, but I kind of was able to go get a Pepsi, this, that. Because Sheamus has the Money in the Bank.
True.
Why? I mean, he could have advanced, yes.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I thought it was going to be Sheamus versus Roman. I didn't think it was going to be Cesaro versus Roman. That was...
Well, Cesaro's going to lose, probably.
Oh, of
that's
course.
beside the point.
Yeah.
I knew Sheamus was going to lose because he has the Money in the Bank. He could still be at Survivor Series, and he could still get the belt at Survivor Series. Yeah. You don't even know. Maybe Triple H is going to try to get... That's how he got Seth Rollins.
Yeah. No, I knew he wouldn't win the tournament. I just thought he would win this match. But, no, it was back and forth here again. Both of them, it was an amazing match between the two. That was pay-per-view quality match between these two, I thought.
Yes.
But Cesaro pulls it off and wins. And then you had the whole thing with Barrett and a soccer football player, whatever you want to call him. I didn't know who the guy was. I don't follow, European football, so I was like, okay, another celebrity slaps a wrestler. It's not going to go anywhere. We're not going to see anything from it. It's just because he happens to be in England.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to go any further than that.
Yeah, exactly. So
then my favorite match was Dean Ambrose versus Tyler Breeze, and Dean Ambrose beat the crap out of Tyler Breeze. I was like, yes.
Yeah, I thought Tyler Breeze was going to win just so we could have Dolph versus Tyler Breeze in the tournament because that's who he would have fought.
I think they're going to fight on their own
Survivor Series. Yeah. I agree with you too. After I thought about it, but the matches we're leading up to here are very interesting. That was the last one, right?
Yep, that was the last one.
Okay, so let's talk about the tournament real quick before we talk about the main event, or not the main event, but what happened at the end of Raw.
Right.
So at this point, we have, for the next bracket, we have Roman versus Cesaro.
Which will probably happen, which happened tonight on SmackDown.
Or I think they might have saved that one for Raw, actually.
How many more weeks till the pay-per-view? 2?
Yeah, 2. So I think they're saving...
Okay, they'll save it for Raw, yeah.
I think they're saving the quarterfinals for Raw. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think probably all we got on SmackDown was Neville versus Barrett, Del Rio versus Stardust, and Kalisto versus Ryback. So then you have your quarterfinals set up.
Oh, okay, so the whole first rung will be done by then.
Yeah, so then Raw is going to be your quarterfinals, and then I'm not sure how they're going to handle the semifinals. If they're going to save them for the next Raw, or if they're going to do SmackDown.
Maybe one will be on Raw and one will be on SmackDown.
Maybe. So, at this point, after Raw, not after SmackDown, obviously, because we haven't watched it, we got Roman versus Cesaro.
Mm-hmm.
So, We already know Roman's going to win, but I wasn't expecting that match to happen in this tournament. That is going to be an awesome match to watch. I don't think those two have ever fought one-on-one. Or if they have, I don't
they
remember.
haven't. Not to my knowledge.
Yeah. So, okay. SmackDown, you probably had Del Rio versus Stardust. I'm thinking Del Rio's going to win.
Most likely.
Okay. Then you have Kalisto and Ryback.
Ryback definitely has to win that.
So you're going to have Del Rio versus Ryback, which I think is another great match. And I'm not sure who's going to win out of that one. Because I would think Del Rio, so you have Roman versus Del Rio, but it could just as easily be Ryback.
Right.
I don't know.
And then the other side, Neville versus Barrett. Come on. Barrett won.
Yeah, Barrett's going to win. Except maybe not, because are you going to have Barrett versus Owens?
If you have to. It's a tournament after all.
True. And I would actually like to see that, because we've already seen Owens face Neville like 3 times. I don't want to see that match again. I would rather see Barrett versus Owens, and I think that would be a better match. So I'm hoping that's what happened.
And then you have Ziggler versus Ambrose.
Yeah. Before we get to that, I think Owens is going to win his quarterfinal match.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So I think you're going to have Roman and Del Rio on the left side. So you're going to have Owens on the right side. Now Ziggler and Ambrose, I'm picking Ambrose. So yeah, I think Ambrose is definitely going to beat Ziggler. I think that's going to be a really good match. But then you're going to have an interesting matchup here. You're going to have Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose. So at that point, we pretty much know Roman's going to the finals. He's going to beat whoever it is, Del Rio or Ryback. So he's going to be in the finals. You have Kevin Owens, who we've seen those two face off a couple of times here recently. So there's precedence for that. Or you have Ambrose, his brother in arms. With Rollins gone, are they going to turn one of them? Are they going to break up that duo? And are we going to see a swerve here? We could.
I don't think so. Because I feel like they've done it already once.
Yeah.
If they did it again, it's like, oh, you're just looking to pull the Shield completely apart, and that's fine, whatever. But that's boring.
Yeah. I agree. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Owens. I'm predicting Owens, but I think it would be interesting to see Ambrose. Even if they didn't turn him, just to see Ambrose and Reigns go straight up for the world title, I think that would be awesome.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Who wins the tournament? Who's the world champion?
Okay. Let me be honest with you here. I don't know. And I'm going to explain why I don't know.
Okay.
Because there are several variables. Now, if it was going to be Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, I was going to say Roman Reigns because I figure, he has to lose the title at least once before, WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I mean, he has to lose it, period, sometime before WrestleMania or on WrestleMania to Sheamus. Or Sheamus is going to take a shot. I mean, he doesn't have to win, but Sheamus has this shot till around WrestleMania. So I predicted that Seth Rollins at some point was going to lose. He was going to piss off the Authority by losing, and that was what was going to lead into Seth Rollins versus Triple H. Now they're saying Seth Rollins wasn't going to go after Triple H at all. He was going to go after The Undertaker for the pay-per-view. I don't know how much of that is true. I honestly don't care at this point. I'm very upset that Seth Rollins isn't even around anymore for the next year, if not longer. You could have a baby in the amount of time he's going to be gone. So anybody who got pregnant this past week, when your child is born, is when Seth Rollins will be back. So I'm going to say if Roman Reigns wins, it's going to be like the hero winning, after the struggle that he had to get back. Because he was going for the belt. And he got screwed by Bray Wyatt. And there was that feud for months. Ever since that King of the Ring bout, there was that feud.
Right. And even before that, he got screwed at WrestleMania. He had a chance at beating Brock Lesnar. So.
So now he's back to the status of being able to get the belt. He could win it. And it's like finally a face will be holding the belt after so long. And then whoever is working with Triple H, whether it be Sheamus, Kevin Owens, Dean Ambrose, then the next pay-per-view they'll screw over Roman, or maybe the pay-per-view after that. Maybe Roman's will hold it twice, 2 pay-per-views. The other variable is Triple H will either join forces with Kevin Owens or Dean Ambrose, whichever one wins and goes to the pay-per-view, and screw Roman Reigns. And then the heel continues to hold the belt in Seth Rollins' place until either Sheamus takes a pot shot, unless Sheamus is working with Triple H and he gets the belt on Survivor Series. If Sheamus is not working with Triple H, until Sheamus actually pulls his surprise Money in the Bank, and you have to restructure the main events now because everything was surrounding Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. You took Seth Rollins out of the picture. Now you have to find somebody who could fill those shoes. And to be honest, I feel WWE has been focusing so much on Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and all the big hitters that now they don't have somebody to fit into Seth Rollins' shoes because they've been keeping everybody else back. So now they've got to build up Kevin Owens faster. They have to build up Ziggler faster. Dean Ambrose has to leave the tag stuff and the Intercontinental stuff and get built up faster.
Yeah, especially when you have Orton out with injury too, and John Cena's out with filming the show, and you I know, but I'm just saying you've lost all your heavy hitters, all your main eventers, and they have to move somebody up. At this point though, Owens has not been there that long. Do you put Owens with a strap this early? I think that would be a mistake, honestly. I think if they put the title on him that early, it's gonna. I don't know. I don't think he's ready for that.
I think if they do it like they did with Seth Rollins, where nobody thought Seth Rollins was going to get that belt ever, even with the Money in the Bank, they could pull a Seth Rollins with Kevin Owens too. I just don't think they'll do it because he's the Intercontinental Champion. Now, if he has his own match at Survivor Series, his own personal match before the main event, like a 2-for-2 match, I think if he loses the Intercontinental belt, then yes, there's a good chance he'll win the World Heavyweight.
Yeah.
I don't think he has a match.
Not yet, no. I just think it's too early for Owens. With Seth Rollins, at least he was there for
a while.
He was there for 2 years with the Shield, or a year with the Shield, or whatever. And he proved himself in the ring, and he got a fan base, that way.
He has a huge fan base.
Yeah. So, I mean, Kevin Owens does too, but not to that degree because they have not shown him as much as they showed the Shield. The Shield, like we said, Rollins, since he debuted as the Shield, never missed a Raw until now. So, I mean, he was always there. Kevin Owens,
he's here one day, gone the next. Yeah. He's a great guy outside of the ring, don't get me wrong. I've seen his Twitter, and he's a nice guy. But, again, he needs more build-up before you can just take the belt and say, here you go. I mean, granted, he was an NXT champion. Granted, so was, Seth Rollins. He was, he came to Raw with the NXT belt looking to cause trouble before he lost the NXT belt and then just became a complete WWE superstar. But still, he needs more time to build up. You can't throw Kevin Owens into the picture now because you lost Seth Rollins. You can't throw a brand new, face into the works without getting the rest of the green off first. Right.
So, and Ambrose, I love Ambrose. I think eventually he would make a great champion, but there's something there that just doesn't click for him to get to that level.
He's too Roddy Piper. In my opinion, he's too Roddy Piper. You can't put him against Roman. Maybe against somebody else, but not Roman.
Yeah.
I think that Dean Ambrose is what would be really a twist of fate? Dean Ambrose makes it to the pay-per-view, and Roman Reigns doesn't, and he reconsiders Triple H's offer after that. After Dean Ambrose wins the belt.
That would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
That would be a twist I wouldn't expect. Here's another factor, though. I mean, this has nothing to do with the tournament or Survivor Series, but there is still Brock Lesnar. He's still out there.
He's not going to do it. He doesn't want to be at... If you win the championship, that puts a huge responsibility for you to be in least...
But he was the champion.
Oh, he was. Yes, he was. But I don't think he's... He would make a good champion if he wanted to be there. He just wants to be there every once in a while and then, walk away. And if you win the championship, you need to be on Raw. You don't necessarily have to be on SmackDown and Raw, but you need to make a weekly appearance, and he doesn't like doing that sometimes.
I don't think you need to make a weekly appearance necessarily. Not when you're Brock Lesnar. I think the way they did it before when he was the champ, before he lost it at WrestleMania,
Yeah.
I think that was good because he was more of a, okay, I'm going to fight when money's on the line. Because that's what he's there for. He's there for a job. He's there, and when you have the world title, you're getting paid more money.
Obviously, yeah.
So I don't know. I think it fits his character to come every once or twice every couple of months or whatever, and then defend at these big pay-per-views and stuff like that. I don't necessarily think they're going to jump right back into Brock Lesnar as world champion, but I think if Roman Reigns wins,
they're going to throw Brock Lesnar at him next.
Exactly. Why wouldn't they? There's nobody else on that level. If he beats Kevin Owens, there's no other big guys. He's beating
everybody on his level.
Right, exactly.
He's beating everything. And he's already beaten the Big Show, so you can't push Big Show anymore.
Yeah.
So who is left? Who is left that Kevin Owens, that Roman Reigns could fight? Del Rio, maybe.
Del Rio, maybe, yeah.
Sheamus, if he goes for Money in the Bank. There is nobody.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is either injured or Roman Reigns went through him already.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Wyatt family is going to be dealing with, well, we'll talk about that in a second, but they're going to be dealing with their own problems.
So, yeah, you got to bring back Brock.
Yeah, you have no choice unless you beg Cena to come back. I don't think Cena's going to come back.
Who wants to see Cena versus Roman Reigns, though? I mean, I don't.
I definitely don't. 100% do not.
So, I don't know. It's going to be tough for them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Unless you bring Triple H and he comes out of semi-retirement and goes into...
No.
I don't want to see this either. I'm just saying.
There's a reason why I don't want to see it. If he was legitimately coming back to wrestle, stepping down from the Authority, becoming the Cerebral Assassin again, fine. That's good. It's not like The Rock. I'm back. The Rock is back home. By the way, did you know The Rock is going to have a baby girl? He made the announcement a few days ago on Twitter.
I did not. No.
Rock's having a baby girl.
Wow.
Congratulations, by the way.
Congratulations, Rock.
Anyway, he came back every freaking 5 months in between his movies like, The Rock is back home. And everybody's like, yeah, Rock, we believed you the first time. We almost believed you the second. But this is the 20th time. I'm sorry, but you lost us at 3.
Yeah, but I still can't hate on The Rock because he chose a career path that was paying more money and less toll on his body.
I'm not stepping on his toes for that.
Yeah,
but
I know.
You're coming back.
No, I agree. I think at this point he should just be this guy that comes in and does an appearance like Stone Cold does, but
absolutely.
Whatever.
But with Triple H, he has an injury. And that's semi why he stepped away from the fighting and stepped into the Ascension role. Now, Shawn Michaels had a back thing, and he stepped away from wrestling for almost 10 years. And then he came back. He came back, hey, I'm still good. I'm going to wrestle. And he wrestled for
a number of years,
a good number of years before he retired.
Yeah.
But he didn't retire on a bad note. He retired Ric Flair. And soon after, he said, I'm done. And he had his last match. He named it. He proclaimed, this is my last match.
Yeah.
And he won it. And that was the end.
So
Triple H needs, if he's going to come back, he has to come back.
He's not going to come back.
I know. That's the problem. He needs to, though. Fight or don't fight.
Yeah. I don't know. They just...
come back?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying... If
Would
he
you
does,
Triple H?
Not if he's going to be like Vince McMahon. If he's going to still be in charge. Yeah, that's the only way I would like it if he wasn't in charge anymore. But that's not going to happen. He's married to the boss's daughter. He is the CEO of the company. It's just not going to happen. Unless
Vince comes back and kicks him off.
I don't see that happening. Vince is almost 70 years old.
That's true.
I don't know. I can't see it. Unless Shane reconsiders and comes back to the family business.
Oh, that'll never happen.
I know. I'm just saying this is like a bunch of what ifs here.
I love Shane O'Mac. I'm sorry.
I do too.
He's come out to that ring with that dance that he did. It was like, oh, come on. That guy, I love Shane McMahon. I don't
Yeah.
know why. I hated Stephanie at times, but I love Shane. Even
Yeah.
as a heel, he was entertaining to watch.
Oh man, when the whole wars when WWE bought WCW and he comes out there and says, "Name on the contract's McMahon, but it's not Vince McMahon." I was just like, yes. Then the whole thing fell apart.
I was watching WCW that night.
I was too. Yeah.
The last match was Sting versus Ric Flair. Sting went out on the best note possible.
Yeah.
And that's why I think WWE did him a huge disservice, and he deserves one more match that he wins.
Yeah. WWE did all those WCW stars a huge disservice.
Yes, they did. Because it's like, haha, we won, so now you guys get screwed.
Including Booker T.
Oh, yeah. But beside that point, when Shane came out, I was like, oh, I didn't know who Shane McMahon was.
Oh, really?
I was not watching. I'm lying a little bit. When New Blood started on WCW, that's when I said, you know what? I forgot who moved over. Vince Russo moved over from WWF. And I hated Vince Russo. So I'm like, you know what? Let me see the company that threw him out, what they're like. So that's a lot. I was watching WWE for a certain amount of time, and I had done some research. I knew who Shane was, but I never really dug deep into Shane's background.
Oh,
so when he walked out on WCW, I knew it was Vince's son, but I didn't know that him and the father had this huge feud going on.
Yeah.
So that was where I was like, okay, I guess they're not friendly with each other.
Yeah, it was cool. I miss moments like that. We don't get that anymore because there's no competition.
Exactly. That's why WWE feels like, hey, we could throw you shit and you're going to still watch it because guess what? TNA sucks worse than we do.
Yeah, they need competition. Competition makes you thrive.
Okay, Brent, it's time to open up that wrestling organization we've always wanted to go. We got Ron, we'll get Gordon, we get John, and we'll have a we'll get a wrestling thing started. We'll dress Gordon like Doctor Who. Ron will come out in his airship suit.
John will come out in the gorilla suit.
Because he loves monkeys. Or gorillas, I should say. There's a difference. I know that. And we'll just go. We'll make these really weird paper belts.
Yeah. Okay.
Pull Sting up.
Call Sting up. he'll be the commentator.
Whatever floats his boat. Hey, if you get Sting, you don't say no to any position he wants. He could be the bell ringer. I don't care.
All right. So should we talk about how Raw ended?
Yes, we completely sidetracked so much I forgot. We didn't talk about the Wyatts coming out to pay a eulogy to the Brothers of Destruction.
Yeah, and we talked about that. They were showing moments of the Undertaker and Kane all throughout the night. And then, talking about the eulogy. And the eulogy, I'm thankful, was very short.
Me too. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be Bray bullshitting for 15 minutes and cut the show out.
And the thing is, I like Bray Wyatt. I really do like his character. But anytime he does these segments where he talks, I just zone out or I walk away or whatever. I can't sit there for that long and hear it. It's just like, oh my goodness.
Can I be honest? I knew something was going to happen.
Well, of course something was going to happen, but I didn't know what.
Eyeball hurts?
Yeah. Allergies. I was putting something cold on it because it's itching like crazy.
Gotcha.
Anyway, sorry.
So they had the eulogy.
Probably weird.
No, you're fine.
They had the eulogy.
And then
what happened?
Strangely enough, The Undertaker and Kane comes out.
Well, no. You got to build it up. See.
Yeah. Well, he said he consumed their souls.
He consumed their souls, and then all of a sudden, the lightning and the fire, and then the dong. It's like.
Yeah, but you know what I like right before that happened? He said the apocalypse is coming.
Yeah.
You're all done. It's the end. And that's when lightning struck. And that's when See, this is what I didn't like. They made it look like the Wyatts had taken the Undertaker and Kane and locked them away somewhere or trapped them somewhere.
Yeah.
When in reality, they did nothing. They took them to the backstage area and left them there. Because that's how it had to have been. Because, hey, look, there's the Undertaker and Kane walking out on the backstage.
It's just that I guess it doesn't have as much mystique as it used to have. Anytime like Undertaker would be buried alive or whatever, or put in a casket or whatever and burned alive or whatever, and he would still rise up and show up out of nowhere. And I think it's kind of cool, and that's the effect they were going for. You like totally underplayed the whole effect of this whole segment. You're just like,
sorry,
oh, they came out.
It's like they came out and then they cleaned house.
Yeah, but it's like, it was like, oh, it's like, here comes the lightning and Bray doesn't know what's going on, and then the fire, and then the music, and then the crowd goes wild, and then the fog, the smoke comes rolling out, and then out they come, and it was just like, Bray Wyatt's like, oh my God, what's going on? And then they do their whole walk to the ring, and
and Bray was alone at the time.
Yeah, raising the lights up, and then even then they get in the ring, the lights go down, and the Wyatts appear all around the ring. And then they clean house, like you said. They took out Rowan and Harper, and then what's his name? Strowman comes in and clotheslines both of them, and I knew it was coming. They both sit up at the same time, and then they, disperse of him, and then it's the double choke slam on Bray Wyatt, and then they walk out and do their trademark look back, arm up, Raw ends. It was fitting. It was very fitting. I liked it. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it so soon. I thought there was going to be at least another week more build-up, and there was going to be a match at Survivor Series. Now I'm not even sure if there was going to be a match. I think they called an audible because of the Rollins thing. I don't know what they're going to do now.
I think they need to keep that match, especially because of the Rollins thing.
Yeah.
And bring a third person in, as a matter of fact, and is it 4?
It's 4 Wyatts.
4. Bring in another tag team to tag with the Brothers of Destruction, something like a surprise for Survivor Series. Pull something out of your hat, WWE. And make it a 4-man tag.
I don't know who goes with them, though. It's weird.
Bring back the Ministry of Doom.
Dudley's.
Bring back the Ministry of Doom.
It's not the Ministry of Doom, it's just the Ministry.
I don't care what you call them. Bring back the Ministry.
I was expecting like JBL to come up in the ring because he was one of the acolytes. He was part of the Ministry.
Yeah. And what's his name died though? Gangrel died, didn't he?
I think so.
He died. I know he.
Well, Edge can't wrestle.
Viscera died, I think.
Yeah, Edge can't wrestle. You don't want to bring just Christian in there.
Oh man, I remember when Edge and Christian were part of the Ministry. It was so weird, and it was like, I remember when I started watching WWE, they were the Ministry, and they were like so dark, and then all of a sudden they went from dark to Edge and Christian being like these superstar, 5-second or 3-second pose things.
5-second pose, yeah.
Where'd you go from the Ministry to freaking 5-second pose with the glasses and everything? I was like, wow, that's a transformation.
Yeah.
You could bring the Hardys back.
I think Matt Hardy's.
That would be good.
I think Matt Hardy's currently in a tournament for the TNA World Title.
And there's no way you're bringing the Hardys back right now. I guess that rumor was stifled real quick.
Oh yeah. The funny thing is, I think I read a story. Right now, there is no TNA World Champion, no WWE World Champion, and no Ring of Honor World Champion. They're all held up.
Wow, really?
Yeah, none of the wrestling organizations have a champ.
That's sad.
Yeah, that is sad. Really sad.
That proves that people push their champions way too far.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. That leaves room for a new talent to pull up. So we'll see what happens. In my opinion, I think this was a nice week. Not a bad week. I like that, you mentioned this before. I think it was either this past week or the week before that. Survivor Series is always about a tournament and who survives it. As much as I hate saying, it took Seth Rollins to get hurt, you got what you kind of wanted in the end, though. You got a Survivor Series tournament in a way.
It wasn't really... I mean, Survivor Series was always about the elimination matches, but tournaments were like the old school. That's what I was talking about. They were the old school way to handle situations like this, and I kind of appreciated that they went that route.
Yeah,
I
me
thought
too.
that was cool, yeah.
I'm very excited for Survivor Series.
Yeah.
That's really all I can say for Survivor Series right now. I think this was a good week. NXT had some really good matches. I wrestled very good. And SmackDown, no. And Raw started the tournament. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And now this week we have to watch SmackDown because
of the tournament.
The tournament.
Or at least fast forward to the tournament matches.
I'm gonna fast forward to the tournament matches. You're damn right, because there is no way I'm sitting through all the crap that they put through on that show.
Yeah. So that's all right though. That's good. It's all good.
At least they don't have a Saturday show anymore. Those were really bad at one time, I heard.
They do still do main event, I think. I'm not sure. I don't know when it comes on, where it comes on, but it pops up in my Hulu feed all the time.
I hope I answered this person right tonight. I was talking to somebody, a really nice person. This person does, she makes dolls. Not dolls, like, I think they're figurines. I don't know what you would call them. The person, I'll give you the name real quick. But this person asked me, like I mentioned that Seth Rollins got hurt at a house show, and I hope I explained it right, because I feel like I did, but I didn't. Lynn Morrow, if you guys want to follow on Twitter, it's at For The Tiny, and they have a store, and they sell a bunch of really cool stuff on there. I would screen share, but then it's going to screw up the side-by-side. But I'll send Brent the link, so he'll share the For The Tiny shop. You can order, I believe they're $20 a piece. They make like stitching. I'll send Brent the link while he's explaining what a house show is. Could you explain in a maybe better detail than I what a house show is?
A house show is basically a non-televised event that just happens on an off night that they're not recording live TV anywhere at any arena in your hometown or whatever. It's like if they had like a Saturday show or something. They don't have any televised tapings or anything going on. It's just your typical show for the fans that are in the area. That's basically what a house show is.
And it is a she. I'm sorry. I wanted to make sure because when I was watching the show that they were advertising this on, maybe I didn't hear correct. I wanted to make sure I had the right person before I said he, she. So it's Lynn, so it's a she. So I wanted to make sure. That's why I went on Twitter. But I did send the link. Brent will share it with you guys. She has some really great stuff on her site. She has like Wonder Woman. She does superheroes, does supervillains. She does some Star Wars stuff, some really nice hats. Really, I think it's great if you guys are interested in stuff like that. I want to get the Iron Man, and I definitely want to get her Deadpool. They're $18.99 for the dolls, and the hats range in price like $20 to $8 for like infant, and the socks. I think it's really, really cute and really nice. And for you, Brant, Snake Eyes, $15.99.
Cool. Sweet.
Make me a Storm Shadow, and we got a deal. Because I feel like when you get Snake Eyes, you have to get Storm Shadow, or it's not a complete set.
Of course. Absolutely. Very cool.
I think it's an awesome site. I sent Brent the link. It will be in the show notes. It'll be in the video description. Check them out. I'm probably going to be talking about this on the next Chris and Brant show as well. So at least Brent has the link now.
Awesome. Very cool.
So that's what a house show is. The way I explained it was it's a show that's basically not televised on TV, and it happens in between the main events on TV and whatnot.
Yeah.
It just so happened that Seth Rollins got hurt.
Yeah, exactly. It was a house show in Dublin, and the only reason we got to see footage is because fans were taping it with their cell phones or whatever.
Jonathan Coachman shared a video.
Yeah.
So yeah. But
Coach.
I hope that Seth Rollins recovers fast, gets his butt back in the ring, because we need him. He's when I started watching wrestling again, he was the one, even though he's a heel, he caught my eye. Mm. He really did catch my eye, and I want to see Seth Rollins back. And if he can't have the championship right away, I understand, but I want to see him wrestling again because he's got the talent.
Yeah. All three of the guys from Shield, they were just, it was brilliant bringing those three up.
I would like to see them reunite, but also have their own individual matches. So it's not like always tag or triple tag or six-man tag.
Yeah.
Singles matches, but they're still a group, like a core group.
I would love to see them reunite at some point. I don't care if it takes 2 more years. I would just love to see it happen. Mm-hmm. But I like the fact that it's building up, and we get teases every once in a while, like when they teamed up recently, and then Seth Rollins walked out on them. Stuff like that, But it's going to make it more special when it actually happens, because eventually it's going to happen.
Always does.
Yeah, always does.
So what about you? What did you think of this week's worth of events?
I thought it was a decent week. It was a better week. I actually liked the tournament. I hate that Rollins is injured and gone, but I think they turned it around with a nice way to get a resolution for this whole thing, and I think it's going to make Survivor Series exciting. So we'll just have to see how it all plays out. But I'm curious to see what happens with the rest of the tournament, and I'm really curious to see what happens with the whole Owens Ambrose Reigns thing. So we'll see what happens.
I'm excited. I can't wait. The pay-per-view's 2 weeks away, and I'm pumped.
Yep.
All right, so that's the end of the show. Brent, you want to walk us out?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys want to leave a message, you can leave a comment below for us, or you can email us zone4comicrelated.com.
If you're listening to it, because this is also an audio podcast.
Yeah, so
Zone 4.
So, and you can check out everything else we do. Comic Frontline live every Tuesday. Mm-hmm. We got Hit Points coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yep. We
got a new Zone 4 that'll be live soon after this one. If it's not live at the same time, I don't know, somewhere around the same time. You can check out lastsuperpress.com, zone4podcast.com, and Dr. Industry 86. And
right now, still youtube.com/DrVentureC86. We're working on the .com. We're working on it.
But it's all good. We're going to have an LEP live show pretty soon.
Yeah, don't forget the contest, everybody.
Yeah. So, and, so that's it. So until Chris stops his all-carb diet.
What?
All-carb diet.
Carb. I like my carbs.
It's reference to Bull Dempsey. Never mind. Anyway. Bullfit.
You lost me, though. I'm like, we're fine.
All carb. That's
right.
That's all he eats.
Like a car.
It's his carbohydrates.
I know.
Potatoes. I didn't know if you understood.
Brad tries to explain to me what carbohydrates
well, you said hit by a car, so I didn't know if you could hear me saying the B on the end of it.
I heard the B. I took the B off on purpose.
All right. Okay. So until the carb diet goes away, and Chris, as Bull Dempsey, becomes world champion, we'll see you on the next episode of 123 Podcast. Bye, guys.
And be happy. This week we only saw Summer Rae once.
Bye, guys.
Everybody.
This has been a Gonzo Goose production.